Hello, everybody. I'll turn the mic on. I was just saying, while I was muted, it's been one of those weeks. My brain thinks it's Monday because I haven't streamed since Friday, and I should have streamed on Monday, but it was a bank holiday, and I skipped yesterday because I was doing other things. So as far as my head is concerned, today is Monday. So there you go. Afternoon, Paul, Mark, David, Virginia, Mumo, how are you doing? Right, so markets opened. We'll have a look at the stock indices to start off with, see where we're going. This morning, just a quick recap of this morning. Rubbish. The DAX, basically, ranges were out, so didn't get any trades on the DAX this morning. It did actually give a fairly nice profit if you did trade it, but ranges were wrong. Where's my pen? Put it all the way down there. Morning, Vitaly. Which website do you use for the earnings calendar? Forex Factory. Afternoon, Peter. This morning we broke out to the upside, nice 3-bar reversal, then it slammed straight down. So if you did get on this morning, you would have been stopped out on the long and you would have flipped short and probably got, I would say, maybe a 2R, 3R out of it. The FTSE, we watched this in the live room this morning in the members stream, broke out to the upside, sat around. So I closed it out basically because this propulsion gap was holding. So I closed it out and then it collapsed literally 5 minutes after I shut it. So it's the right decision to make this morning. We've collapsed down. If you had left to the short in play, which I didn't, because we didn't break long and it was too far to go to get in short, you would still be in that now in virtually no profit. So I've got my FTMO account, which I'm running here, which has actually got that short on the FTSE. So I am still short on that one. So I'm just letting that play out on autopilot, basically. So let's have a look at where we're going this afternoon. Good day yesterday. Really nice, easy money yesterday. Well, it wasn't easy money, actually. That's a lie. Yes, that's yesterday, the 27th. Sorry, from there. So basically, yesterday we started off with a FTSE long and short stop out. Then we had the NAS, the S&P, and the DOW all stop out. And then the NAS, S&P, and the DOW flew the other way and got all the money back. So yeah, nice profit yesterday. Ended up 955 to the good. So let's see where we're going this afternoon. Dow upside break. Was it 9255? So we should get something on the Dow, I would suspect. That's a big break on the Dow, isn't it? Look. So Dow, I presume, is going for all-time highs. No, it's not. Sorry. 1-bar range too small. Not by far, though. So we should get one on that. So your all-time highs are up here, basically. So lots and lots of room to go and challenge those highs today on the Dow. So we'll see if we get a break on the 10 or the 15. No trade on the S&P and no trade on the NASDAQ so far. So we covered this in the member stream this morning, but I'm using ADR3. So if you're using ADR10, you may well be getting different results. Obviously, you'll get different ranges formed. But because I'm using ADR3, we had this really big ADR day yesterday, a bank holiday, and then we had this huge ADR day on Friday. So because I'm using ADR3, I'm taking the average of those 3 days. So we've got a monster day, a ADR 125, 150 day, and no movement. So it's the average of these two, basically, which is large. So as you can see, the EA is looking for a minimum range of basically 6081. So this is why we didn't get a trade on the DAX this morning, because these ranges on the 3-day are so big. We got these really big days in there. There's been loads of big days. It's quite a volatile time at the moment, obviously, with what Trump's doing. So, but we'll see. May or may not get any trades on, but we'll come back to that in a bit. FX wise, I'm just about to TP on the Swiss yen. We'll go through the news in a minute. I'm just going to shut that out. Shall I let it run? Shall I let it run? Shall I let it run? It is the open. We might get it. Whenever you see a trade that's that close to target, you know if you don't take it, it will just go straight back the other way. So I've been around long enough to know that that is as good as a TP. So I'm having it. Swiss yen shot. So banked 0.74 today. Clean break, clean banks. Let's look at this lovely dashboard. Look, green every week, green every day. It's just green. It's all green. Love it. Yeah, close that out there. And I've also closed out today Aussie, New Zealand, and the pound US dollar. So Aussie, New Zealand, that one, I decided to get out completely. I was toying with the idea of staying in this. It's a month old now. So got in there, took a TP, did a partial drawdown. Those are the other two positions. TP'd on that, TP'd on that, TP'd on that. So I closed that one out. Done. So nice profit on the Aussie New Zealand. It's a month long sort of in and out, back to propulsion. So the reason I decided to get out of it, I was toying with the idea of keeping it because we are nicely in a downtrend on this at the moment. So the market structure looks like it will possibly go short. However, this could well just be the turning point here, and we're just going to pull back and continue off of this weekly. So I decided to take the lot off. And just screw the idea of market structure short on it because we've had New Zealand dollar news this morning and it's decided to go rallying like a crazy thing, although the interest rates have dropped, which is the opposite to what you would usually expect. So New Zealand dollar powering up on negative interest rates. Doesn't make sense. So I don't trust the price action. So I decided to get out flat. Pound US dollar, took that one off. This is just a partial. So I've taken that part of the trade off. So as you can see, I've still got 4 on. That was trade number 5. Average is down here, 175 ADR. It is coming down nicely. So we got this nice reversal alert. I was looking for a retest and drop. So I decided to get out and get back in if it did come up and retest, but it's not gone far enough and it's dropping. So that's absolutely fine. So average is there, looking for a push down into these propulsion gaps to exit at some point. And that's it. So I'm going to go through everything else and see if there's anything else to get into this morning. Let's just see what we're doing with these. Oh, nice breaks. So definitely going to get a trade on the 10-minute opening range. Bit worrying that it's gone that far already. Yeah, big, strong market today. They are off for the highs, aren't they? We'll have a look at those in a minute. 11 seconds. Let's just wait for these ranges to go in. Got a small gap there forming. So very, very strong buying pressure today. So be looking for a pullback continuation on this. So no, gutted. Okay, so no trades taken on these. I'm going to miss this today, I think, unfortunately. So the EA basically, if the price of the candle closes at the high or just off the high, as you can see here, that's closed at the high, that's closed ever so slightly just off the high, it won't take a trade level. So you don't get your pending order on, you get a limit placed. So it needs to have closed down below that high. So if this now closes back down inside the range on that 5-minute candle, that will be the 15-minute ORB that we'll take today on those two. Let's have a look at the NASDAQ. Same with the NASDAQ. We've closed far too close to that high. So it's a little safety feature built into the EA, basically. If it's moving that fast, the likelihood is it will just go without you. So you just don't want to take it. So we'll wait for those to pull back, and then we'll get in on the 15-minute ORBs. In fact, that range size actually is also slightly too small, look. So we need 1382 on the S&P. Let's just measure that. Yeah, so we've got 1459 there now. That's big enough. That's fine. And the Dow Jones is big enough as well. So yeah, definitely going to take all three today. We'll see what happens. Let's just have a look at FTMO because I want to see what the difference is between the FTMO entries. So FTMO, no trade. Again, same. NASDAQ, no trade. Same. DOW, no trade. Same. Good. Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute. Right. Interactive investors for earnings calendar. No, I use Forex Factory. I just said that. You can use whatever you want. It's all the same stuff, no, pretty much. In fact, it's not all the same stuff because you do get different events and slightly different forecasts as well, I find, but it's more for informational purposes. I'm not using it to trade. So, afternoon, back in the same time zone. Finally, you've made it. I was watching, what was I watching the other day? Oh yeah, I was watching something on Netflix about somebody sailing, basically, and all of a sudden the ocean disappearing because the poles had reversed or something. Very weird. So it was on Amazon, but it was half in French and half in English. So as soon as they were talking English, you were fine. As soon as they started talking French, the subtitles didn't come on. So when you had to put the subtitles on to understand what they were saying in French, it would then do English subtitles when they were talking in English. And when there was music playing, it would say atmospheric music and things like that. Very annoying to watch. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's on Amazon if you want to watch it. FTNet, afternoon. Ro, hello. I'm in the NAS. Paul, I am also in the NAS. Good. Well, I hope it doesn't pull back too far then, so that it stops you out. What I want it to do is just, if it can just come down and just test the propulsion gap, that might be a bit far for you, but all right, let's go halfway. Let's create a new propulsion gap there and test that. If we can do that, because then everybody's happy, aren't they? Right, let's have a look at the FX markets. Pound US dollar coming down nicely. Let's see if that is US dollar. Yeah, so US dollar strengthening up at the open. So nice push starting on the dollar. So positions I've got on at the moment, I've got Euro CAD as a short. That one's coming back to break even. It's totally range bound at the moment. I've banked on it a couple of times in the last 3 weeks. I've got a short on at the moment, so I'm looking for retests of these propulsion areas. If it pushes up and tests those two, obviously next short goes in there, and next short will be up at the monthly high. So I'll just scale into that move if that happens, but hopefully it will drop. It's not really going anywhere. I've also got Euro Pound as a long. So I'm hedged on the Euro basically. So 4 positions on that one, 4 trades on the position at the minute. Nice rejection out of propulsion yesterday. So I'm looking for this to push back up and retest this propulsion gap. And then we'll see if we're going to maintain this short or whether we are starting a rounding bottom movement here. So I'm expecting to get a reaction at the highs there. So if we get up to ADR today, I'm expecting some kind of pushback out of propulsion. And then I will obviously will have a reversal alert, which is 14 minutes. That reversal alert is going to trigger. Yeah, so there's your reversal alert. So that will trigger a long, and then we'll come and retest and push back up again. That's the plan on that one. And the other trade I've got on is the pound US dollar, which is obviously short at the moment. So I covered this one this morning as well. I'm expecting this to be, this is obviously an area balance. So I'm expecting this to be a failed upside price discovery. So I would be looking for them to come down and test either this low here, which is the 3-week low, or the 2-week low, which is there. So looking for either a test of this tiny little propulsion gap or to come back down to here. Either way, we're going to get through that big propulsion gap, hopefully, to get there. So if we get back to here, I've got a break even on it. There's no need to take a break even at the moment. But what I might do, as I've just taken a profit this morning on this position, if we get back down to a kind of break even in propulsion, what I might do is close that one out and bank that, and then do a partial drawdown control on one of the ones below the line. If you're using the dashboard, obviously you've got this button here which will show you which trades you can close out partials, which will improve your average price. So I'll wait until we get there. Right. So ADRs today, and let's cover the news first. Let's just see if we've pulled back. Yeah, okay, so we're back inside range. So propulsion gaps. Oh, we didn't get a propulsion gap there. We have got a propulsion back gap on the S&P, on the DOW though. So yeah, looking for continuation breaks on this after that strength, hopefully, and then we'll go. Nasdaq's pulled back really deep. So we got that propulsion gap there, which we would look for buyers to step in at. Obviously, this is your downside propulsion move on the S&P. So looking for a break long, but equally, obviously, if you're already in it, you don't want it to break short. I don't care because I'm not in it. It can go whichever way it wants to. But let's hope for everybody else's sake we go long. If you haven't already stopped out on it, 'cause it's quite a deep pullback on that NAS. 50% pullback on the S&P. It's pulling back very hard. Very hard. Dow Jones is holding up though, so oh no, it's not anymore. Wow, very volatile market this afternoon. So quickly looking at the news. This morning we've had, so yesterday, I'll cover the whole week because obviously I wasn't here on Monday. Monday was a bank holiday. Market went like that. Yesterday we had Ueda talking. We had Lagarde speaking the day before. No impacts, nothing new, no news, nothing there to report at all. Very weak news yesterday. We did get ADRs yesterday on quite a lot of stuff because obviously we had Monday with no movement, and then we had big movement because we had 2 days worth of trading to do yesterday. So nice moves yesterday. SMB spoke last night. Nothing exciting. Went through all the meeting minutes on that, or rather all the comments on that. There was nothing in there. I was expecting Schlegel to come out and say that they were going to drop interest rates to zero because of inflation drop, but nothing was confirmed. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that. This morning we had the CPI for the Aussie, bullish. It is bullish on forecast, but no change on previous year on year. So basically stagnation. So no bullish, no bearish, real future stance on the Aussie. The New Zealand dollar, obviously they dropped interest rates as planned, and that has basically sent the New Zealand dollar skyward. Normally it would send the New Zealand dollar the other way, but obviously it's the New Zealand dollar and it doesn't do what it should do, ever. So big strong move on that New Zealand. I'm not sure it's going to be sustained, but we'll wait and see. We've looked at things like this before in the live room. The New Zealand dollar, when it does rally, just goes, or when it dumps, it just goes. There doesn't seem to be any sense in what the market does with the New Zealand dollar. When they get the bit between their mouth on it, they just go. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Today, obviously, has been a strong day. We'll look at the ADRs in a minute, but lots of movement there. Press conference, nothing exciting at the press conference. This afternoon, we've got no news, and it's FOMC meeting minutes this evening. So this evening, basically, we've got some potential volatility coming on the dollar. There's no plans for the Fed to make any changes. There's no plans for the Fed to come out and say anything because the Fed don't know what the hell they're doing because they don't know what Trump's doing. Trump doesn't know what he's doing, and neither does anybody else. So at the moment, the Fed are just going to sit there and go, we'll wait and see what happens. So it's going to be the usual, we will be led by data approach, which means you shouldn't get any big, strong moves in either direction on that. It should just whipsaw and kind of stay where we are. So any big, strong, spiky moves off of that FOMC, probably good mean reversions, but it'll probably not, probably will happen within an hour and you won't have a chance to react to it. But anyway, so that's this evening. Bank holiday in Euro and Swiss. Swiss yen's just hit ADR, so that would have hit my target. There you go. It's blown through my target straight up to ADR. So yeah, bank holiday tomorrow, Euro and Swiss. We need to be careful of the DAX tomorrow morning. If you're trading the DAX, probably going to be, if the DAX is open, these bank holidays, not really bank holidays. The banks don't seem to shut on bank holidays anymore. So I think the DAX is open tomorrow, but be careful because the volatility will be very low. GDP for the US and unemployment. We've got Bailey speaking tomorrow evening. Nothing really expected there. And then we've got German CPI and PCE and GDP for the CAD on Friday. So today is really the big news day. And FOMC, if they say anything this evening, might be a biggie, but other than that, probably not. Afternoon, Rajiv. What pairs are you trading? So I am trading at the moment Aussie New Zealand, Aussie US, Swiss yen, Euro CAD, Euro Swiss, Euro pound, and pound US dollar. So I'm focusing solely at the moment just on those 7, while this volatility is going on with Trump. It's obviously going to limit my earnings potential. Because I've got obviously a lot less exposure on, but obviously the reason I want less exposure is because I do not want to be overexposed if Trump decides to blow the world up economically. So just keeping the exposure light. So those 7 pairs give me very good commodities, safe haven, and major exposure, but none of those are heavily correlated or negatively correlated in either direction. So if you look at all these pairs, the price action on them is all very, very, very different. So it's unlikely that any of these will suddenly drive in the same direction at the same time and put me into massive drawdown. So it's just keeping the portfolio diversified, basically, for the minute, until we know what's going on with Trump. And I don't actually know when that's going to be. So like everything with Trump, it's just a case of wait and see what happens, isn't it? So ADRs today. Afternoon, Franco. Morning even for you. Aussie New Zealand. That's an ADR hit this morning. So as I say, got out of that this morning. There's your New Zealand dollar strength. It came straight into this 3-week support, which is also a propulsion move, which is why I decided to exit. So as you can see from the price action, what I saw this morning was a huge drop straight into that weekly level, a bounce out, and then an attempt to break that level, which failed. So I exited the position. It's actually looking like it is going to break it. It's just putting a new low of the day. But so your mean reversion opportunity was there. And it did mean revert 50% of it. So if you took a 5-minute reversal, I don't think you got one until... Yeah, so there was no reversal alert there. The first reversal alert you had was that candle there. So that's all you would have got out of it, which is roughly a quarter of an ADR. So it's not a great trade today. Swiss yen, obviously that's just hit ADR. So if you want to drop down M5, reversal alert will be off of that. Euro New Zealand, also ADR. So that was this morning. Again, so New Zealand dollar, there's your ADR reversal. That also came out of the previous day's low, out of Monday's low, which was obviously weak price action because of the bank holidays. Pound New Zealand, same thing. So that's an ADR hit to the downside on the New Zealand. It's not really gone anywhere. So it does look like we've got this continuation New Zealand strength. New Zealand dollar CAD reversed beautifully off the highs. So it looks like Canadian dollar strength coming through. So there's your entry up there, reversal alert, and there's your retest. So nice, big, strong push, reversal, retest, and it's coming back down, but it's come back down into that propulsion move. So this propulsion move, which is the New Zealand dollar news, is holding up. So they are adding more size here. So could well just pop back up into there and off we go. The New Zealand dollar is very, very unpredictable direction-wise. So ADRs on these are a bit meh. But New Zealand Swiss, same thing, and New Zealand yen, same thing. We've got a weak yen at the moment. So yen weakening across the board. So I'm not really wanting to take a short on that anyway. So so those are your ADRs. We've got 2 weekly ranges. So pound yen, obviously that's Monday back here. So yesterday we hit weekly range and it came off beautifully off the weekly range out of that propulsion gap. So nice looking little short there, but you did pretty much the entire week's range yesterday in one day. I think it was 175 ADR yesterday on that, something like that. What's ADR? 148. We did 260. So yeah, 150, 175 ADR yesterday. So that was a beautiful reversal. If you took it yesterday, someone was talking about that trade in the member stream, in the Discord channel. And the other one is the Aussie US, which has just hit today. So that again, obviously from Monday, that's your high from Monday. We've just hit weekly range to the downside, back in this propulsion gap. So watch this level here for a bounce. And also, you've got the weekly low here, which is also a previous monthly high. So multiple rejections at that level. So it's a good looking level it's coming up to, which is this previous monthly high here. Been pretty much invalidated for weeks, so I wouldn't class this monthly as a strong level. It is holding it though, as you can see. So basically what's happened is this is your monthly range. Market's broken out and sat around that monthly range for a week. We've then broken above that monthly range, so all the buyers who are buying the monthly breakouts are adding size every time we return to that monthly level. So that potentially is where we're going to add more size. So good looking long opportunity coming up if we get to ADR on that today. However, I would also look at that as an area of balance with a failed upside breakout, which means that potentially we will start a downside breakout to see and test if we can trade lower. If we can, there's absolutely nothing to stop you until you get back down into this propulsion gap. So just be aware if you're going to position trade this, if you take a long here and it doesn't work out, be prepared for a drop all the way down there. So it's a bit of a risky long. Stop loss wise, no problem. Obviously, if you're using a stop loss, it doesn't matter, does it? So if you come down and take a long, short, stop under there. If it does break down, you get out. You can even flip short. But good looking opportunity there on the Aussie US coming up. It could well just hold that range as well. Yeah, we might just sit around up here. Bear in mind, we've just had positive news for the Australian dollar. The CPI number remained the same. It didn't drop as they were forecasting, so that's bullish. But obviously, this is the dollar. So if Trump is going to announce anything that is going to undo these tariffs and make America great again, we're going to go down here. As you can see, for the last month, he hasn't said anything positive at all about making America great. All he's done is destroyed the economy. So obviously, there's no faith in the dollar at the moment, which means that everything may well hold up against the dollar and we keep rallying. Yeah, so this propulsion gap could become an orphaned gap. We never get back there, which it will be unusual for the dollar. But, you know, it's unusual to have someone say they're going to make America great again, come in and destroy the economic relationship with every country on the planet. You know, so this is not a normal chart now, is it? So we'll see what happens. But I don't know which way the dollar's going to go, which is why I'm keeping my exposure as light as possible. Right, short on the indices. So short just triggered on the Dow, already in short S&P. And NASDAQ already short as well. So 3 shorts on. Propulsion gap invalidated on the NASDAQ. Yeah, a bit of a whippy one today. We'll see where we go. If anybody's got any FX pairs they want to look at specifically, let me know. Just see what's going on with the FTMO. Just making sure everything's triggering properly. So just looking at these, if we are not going long, because obviously we're the S&P 500, obviously there's your sort of all-time highs really up there. My partial close target would be retesting those highs. Downside, looking at this low as support and potentially then coming down to there. But you can see how many targets there are downside. And obviously we know that This is certainly not a confirmed bull market. If we look at the S&P at the moment, we are still ever so, well, I say all-time highs. It's not going to be all-time highs, is it? It's monthly highs. But as far as the bear market goes, this is where we were forecasting a reversal. That is potentially what we've got on the cards. So this high here, if this is a bear market and it is leg one of the bear market, this is going to be leg two of the bear market. If that's the case, we won't be invalidating that high. If we invalidate that high, it would indicate that this is actually going to become a new bull market. So again, we're still in this unsure as to whether we're bull or bear instance at the moment, aren't we? So at the minute, market is undecided today. But that propulsion move that started that new potential second leg of the bear market is what we're holding at the moment. So the short sellers who started this leg here, potentially adding more size. So we may find it difficult to get out today. The Dow has managed to break through that propulsion move. But obviously very big wick rejection going on there. So if this breaks down today and that reversal alert kicks in, this is your target. And the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is doing a little better. Obviously tech stocks. So we're retesting last week's high and the previous week's high right now, which is this propulsion move. So again, that is where they added more size. If that is where we're going to fail, obviously it's look out below. So interesting levels again this week. We'll see where we go with them. But who knows which way are we after? Afternoon, it's time. Can we have a look at US dollar CAD? So obviously bearish at the minute. This is obviously Trump's, well, one of Trump's many moves. So the minute we looked at this one this morning as a good short opportunity. So obviously we're up at the RSI extension to the upside. So we are bearish, obviously, as you can see. So we've just broken down through the 3-week low last week on Friday. We've pushed back up yesterday above that area. So if this is going to continue to be bearish market structure, that's what you're going to be looking at, potentially some kind of pullback and short. So this is a 50% retracement on that previous leg going in at the minute. It's a bit of a difficult one. I mean, it depends where you start the leg from, really. So that's 50% of the entire move. But obviously it's discretionary. So I would say that's last week's move. So this is the last week's candle. That's the high of last week. You're back at the 50 with that propulsion gap holding. If you want to look at recent intermediate highs, that's an exact 50% retracement. You're always going to be able to put this somewhere that will give you the absolute perfect pullback. Yeah, but roughly it's pulling back 50%. So this is potentially where you are going to find additional sellers coming in. So if market structure is going to remain short, there's your reversal alert long. That reversal alert you're going to get here will obviously take that low out. So we looked at this one this morning in the live room because this was an RSI extension this morning. In fact, it was the only RSI extension we had on the dash this morning. Yeah, so it was an hourly RSI extension. It was the only one we had. So we looked at this one this morning. You got nice divergence there as well, look. Bearish divergence. So it looks like a really good short. I looked at this one because I said about it this morning. I said I'd be interested in taking that. But if you look at my exposure at the moment, I've got US dollar long and CAD long. So if I take a US dollar CAD short, I'm basically hedging myself. So I'm be shorting the US dollar and longing the CAD. So I'm adding double exposure onto the CAD and hedging the US dollar, which I don't really want to do myself at the moment. But if you're going to get an ADR out of it, you're looking at getting somewhere down into there. So there's two things that are going to happen here. You're either going to put in a higher low here and then push back up and test that propulsion, or this is the pullback test of propulsion to go short. So if you look at how far you're going to get realistically, you've had a reversal on the 15-minute on this. Look, oh no, you haven't. Just about to. Literally just about to reverse in 7 minutes. If this closes bear, there's your reverse alert going to kick in. So if you look at what you're realistically going to get out of it, assuming that we are going to do that, if you get in now, realistically, to get one ADR out of this, which is 77, you're going to need to pull back to 125 ADR. If that happens. So it's doable. That'll be a 50% retracement of that leg there. But, you know, it's all down to this, isn't it? What's he going to say next? Doesn't matter what you think now, how much technical analysis you do, what he says next is going to make it do that or that. You know, technical analysis is only good while there's no fundamentals trumping it. And at the moment, fundamentals are better than technical analysis, but Trump is better than fundamentals. So what do you believe? It's one of those, we're in one of those situations at the moment where the market will do what the market does based on what he says. And unfortunately, it's not predictable. Nothing's ever predictable, but this is more unpredictable than normal, isn't it? So we'll have a look. We'll see where it goes. But I'd certainly like it as a short. From a technical perspective, yeah. Or if you fancy it long, wait for them to come and test that propulsion gap at ADR. And then assume that we're going to go bull. There's more of an argument technically for a bull move than a bear move, because we've got these big propulsion gaps which it's going to want to come up and redo. However, these could well just be orphaned because the market's just been left behind because of what Trump said, and we're never going to get the power in the dollar to get back up there short term because there's no faith in it. What's the fear and greed index today? We haven't had it yet, have we? Yesterday we were up in the in greed. I'd be very surprised if it's still up there, but especially after what he said to Putin. Basically, he's after Putin, isn't he, now as well, which is obviously not going to help. Do not want to poke that man, do you? Can you please share again your idea for the euro pound? I was inside today till... You were inside today? Is it raining? Until the 100% ADR? Euro pound. So I'm long at the minute. Obviously, the initial idea, took a long there, was to come back up into this propulsion gap. So I closed that out up there and then took a new long here, basically looking for rejection at that level, which we didn't get. So I was looking for that as a target to the upside. So second, third, took a profit, entered that position on again. Now I'm in here. So basically I'm looking for monthly low and propulsion gap to the downside for the next entry, which will bring the average down. And then I'll look to get out on a pullback of that leg. So either we're going to pull back from here and come and test this propulsion gap, in which case I'll probably shut that and do a partial on that, or maybe do a partial on that. Or it's going to push down into this propulsion gap here beyond ADR, which is where my next long is going. And then I'll look for a push back up into there. So either way, my upside target is in that propulsion gap. My downside target is in that one. But it's just grinding down at the moment because the euro is just, Lagarde is totally bearish at the minute. They are still saying that they are going to drop interest rates. For some reason, the pound is not weak. I don't know. I mean, it's not strong, but it's not weak. I would expect it to be weaker than it is, but everything is just grindy at the moment. So something's going to move somewhere at some point. So at the minute, all I'm doing is just banking small trades all the time. So if that jumps up to 130, that will go in the bank, and I'll add it back on if I need to. So as long as the market's doing this or grinding like this or grinding like that, just keep banking over and over again until something takes off, and then deal with it later. Nice clean breaks to the downside. So S&P, that was a long thought, wasn't it? I'm really thinking hard on this one. Let's have a look at the others. Let's see if there's anything easier to make a decision on. Not really. So obviously this is potentially a downside target today. That's your lower today. That's the end of yesterday's session. Dow. Don't really like any of these targets at all. That is a good target. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Dow off if we close below there. The NASDAQ, I'm going to leave it where it is, because if we break that double bottom, I suspect we're going to test those highs, which is this low here. So that target is above that area, which is fine. S&P, I don't really know what to do with. There's potential for a bounce out of that, which could mean that I don't get that closed. So I'm just going to move it up sort of into that propulsion gap to see if we basically, if we get down below the low of the day, below the Globex low, and it rejects, then I'll take a partial. So I'm just moving targets up slightly. I think we're probably going to pull back on this before we go, but I don't know. We'll see. It seems to be selling off pretty hard at the moment, doesn't it? On H4, it would still have some more room to the upside. On the US dollar CAD, well, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a different, I'm not looking at that time frame, but yeah, if you're looking at that time frame, maybe it has. What you've just said is yes. It's always got more upside, always got more downside. It's a 50-50 shot. This is why we as traders do what we do. So this is either going to do one of two things. It's going to come up and it's going to test that high, or it's not. 100% guaranteed one of those two is going to happen. So your decision is, are you short on the hourly RSI, or are you looking for a long up into propulsion? If you're that, do that. But have a plan. So if you are going long up to there and it goes down, plan your second entry, move your price, wait for it to go up to where you think it is. If it doesn't work out at all and it comes down to here, you know what to do. Scale in, wait for it to push back. If it goes up to there, happy days, get out. The only reason I am less inclined to think that is going to happen at the moment is because Trump is destroying the dollar. The Canadians are not bullish either at the moment because of what's going on with the tariffs. However, there's more wiggle room for Canada to deal overseas. The US haven't got any wiggle room overseas because everybody's hacked off with them, doesn't want to trade with them. So you notice the way he was like, when Trump dropped the tariffs and put the 90-day pauses on, he was like, I've got people begging. All countries are begging me. They're begging to come and talk to me. No one's begged or gone to talk to him at all. Yeah. Everybody that's turned up and walked through his door has either been slagged off, not got a deal, apart from us, which wasn't a deal because we don't really do anything, or we're in a stalemate and there's no communication going on. Yeah. China, Europe, everybody else, right? So who's winning this war? Everybody else at the moment. Canada has got their doors open to the entire planet. The US can't deal with anybody. Where do you think that's going to send the dollar? Yeah, businesses in the US are strangled. One of the largest businesses on the planet, Apple, has just been told by the US, we're going to cut your profits by 25%. Do you think that's going to entice Apple to go and manufacture everything in the US? Or do you think it's going to make them go, screw the US market, we'll just carry on everywhere else? And then Trump will go, I'm going to lose my next presidency because people want to buy iPhones and I've stopped them, same as I did with TikTok. So I'll reinstate it. Apple will be happy. Everyone goes back to normal. Then the dollar rises. Till he says that, it's not happening. That's the way I see it. But it's, anything can happen at any point. We know this. Trump will just say something and something will go mad. We're still in greed. So bull market still. So these indices are dropping in a bull market. Doesn't look good for that next leg down. Or it does look good for that next leg down, doesn't it? Worrying. Another bear market. I recognize that my ADR levels are different to yours. I have ADR 10. What, on here? This is ADR 10. ADR 10. You're on Euro Pound, aren't you? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still using ADR 10. But if your broker data is different to mine, then yeah, you'll have different levels, won't you? So ADR is 33. I reached today the 100%. Not on that, you didn't. If you did, you've got a very big problem with your data. That's not reached ADR by a long shot. The maximum movement we've had today from low to high is 24 pips. ADR is 33. Not ADR. Check you've got 10 days worth of data. So if you're looking at a lower time frame, check that it goes back 10 days. But it's not hit ADR by a long shot. That one. Not yet. Unlikely to. I mean, our Euro Pound is, get the odd day, but Euro Pound is not a big mover. Don't like this price action at all. So we've got massive wicks, huge wicks everywhere at the minute. Really, really choppy price action. It's obviously it's down, but it's not convincingly down. It's struggling. Makes me want to bank. I'm going to close the S&P out. Got triple exposure short. So I'm just getting rid of the S&P just to reduce the exposure. I'll probably regret it. It'll probably collapse now. But if it does collapse, the Dow's going to go and so is the NASDAQ. So I don't really mind. But I just, if you look at the price action on it at the minute, we put in a higher low. We then put in a lower low and a lower high. A lower low and a lower high, a lower low and a lower high. So price action is going in the right direction. But look at the size of the wicks and look at the size of the bodies. This is indecision. We're trying to push up. We're trying to push down. We're not really getting anywhere. We're trying to push up. We're trying to push down. We're not really getting anywhere. At some point, these guys who are trying really hard to push down are going to fail and it's going to pop, or they're going to break it and everyone that's trying to go long is going to flip short and go with them. So we're either going to get that pop and cascade, or it's going to stall out. So yeah, it's going now. Look. So just want to make sure I've got reduced risk and I want something in the bank, basically. What's the target on FTMO? Is it 3.5? And have they got restrictions on doing it in one day? Away. Seven. Oh, it's a two-step. Oh, God. Forgot it's two-step. There we go. Some more rejection coming in. Look. So I mean, it doesn't. It seems like it's struggling today. Don't like it. I don't like it. I'm just going to protect the NASDAQ. I'm going to get rid of the long. I come later to Discord hoping for help. It's nothing I can help you with. If you're talking about ADR, that is ADR. Yeah, ADR is calculated based on the last 10 candles. Yeah, 10 days. So if you have 10 days worth of data, your ADR calculation will be correct. If you're using my indicator, if you're using someone else's indicator, I've no idea. But if you're using my indicator, it works on whatever you enter in there. So there's nothing I can do to help you. Literally, the only the only input you have is how many days. That's it. There's nothing to change. That will calculate ADR based on the number of days. If you're on a lower time frame like this, and you're looking at a chart like that, you can only see that day, and a bit of that day. If you go back and there's only 5 days worth of M5 data available, your ADR calculations will be incorrect. So make sure that you can uncheck that box, which is the little arrow box, scroll the chart, and go back. And if you suddenly get there and you get stuck, you haven't got 10 days worth of data on the 5-minute time frame. So you need to load more, which your broker should do automatically. But as long as you've got 10 days, that's it. There is nothing more to it. And it calculates ADR from the low to the high and from the high to the low. That's how mine does it. People still argue with me that that's the wrong way to calculate ADR. It's the way I was taught. It's the way I do it. If you don't like it, use a different one. I don't care. But I can't really do much. I can't really help you much more because that's it. It's a very simple indicator. It just calculates the 10 days range from high to low, adds them together, divides it by 10, plots those lines above and below from the high and the low of the day. Looking all red on indices across the board. It is at the moment, although not convincingly. I'd rather stop out on this NAS, just protected it. Look at these wicks. Look at those bodies. Yeah, downside rejection. Sellers are struggling here. Doesn't mean they're not going to win, obviously. It just means it's hard work, isn't it, today? So some strength coming into the US dollar now as well. Sorry, some weakness coming into the US dollar, which again tends to be bullish for indices. So nice 3-bar reversal going in on the pound US. So there's your low of the day rejection at propulsion. So that's where they added to that move. And this is where they're adding again to that move. So the battle lines are drawn here and here. So it's either going to bounce and continue market structure bearish, or this reversal alert is going to get invalidated. We're going to continue this up move. One of them. Many confuse ADR and ATR. ADR is ATR. So if you look at ATR on the daily time frame, although the ATR indicator doesn't draw correctly because it uses today's price. But if you put the ATR indicator, oh, deep pink, that's nice. So there you go. Look, ATR 10 is 85 on the daily. ADR is 88. So it's always going to be around about the same number. So all ADR is ATR of the daily chart. AWR is the average weekly range, which is the ATR of the weekly chart. So that is your AWR, which is ATR of the weekly. That is AMR, which is ATR of the monthly. Not complex, just ATR at the end of the day. It's a lot more long-winded to say the ATR of the daily. It's easy to just say ADR. We love our acronyms in trading, don't we? We're short on anything. NASDAQ trying to drop again. So we are still putting in. You got an outside bar on the S&P. So S&P higher high, lower low, outside bar. NASDAQ lower low, lower high. So NASDAQ still bearish. S&P indecision. DOW bullish. Very, very difficult to read today. And now we're putting in an inside bar. So we've gone from an outside bar to an inside bar. Absolutely no help at all, is it, with price action? Big difference in ADR and ATR and indices because of the gaps. Yeah. Yeah, quite possibly. Mind you, we don't have gaps in CFD, do we? So there is no gaps in indices, though. If indices, they do gap every now and again, but weekly gaps you will get. But the way that I measure ADR is from the low to the high of the day. So if this thing gaps from here to here, yeah, I'm interested in how far it's moving intraday. I'm not interested in how far it's moved from the close to the open. That's irrelevant. That's got nothing to do with the average daily range. That's a gap. It's from how far is it moved today from high to low. Yeah. So ATR will incorporate that move. ADR won't, because ADR calculates high to low. So this is why we use ADR, because it's more accurate. A more accurate measurement. But overnight gaps, because obviously with the US markets now using Globex, which have done for years, there's no real overnight gaps. You do get move, that's the overnight gap. It's tiny. Overnight gap there, tiny. Because it's Globex. We only have an hour's break, don't we, between the close and between the Globex open. So it's trading pretty much 24/5 now. And they're talking about whether this will ever happen, is moving over to 24/7. So we will trade over the weekends as well, but it'll be Globex markets over the weekend. So it'll be on the electronic exchanges rather than, well, we don't have pits anymore, but rather than, brokers. Basically, it'll be traded on Globex. So if that happens, you'll be able to trade the indices over the weekend, which will be good. Well, it won't be good because you need time off, but it'll be good if you want to do that. Not that the price action will be very good. You'll probably find it's just like a normal Globex session. It's very rotational. So you just pick highs and lows and sell them and buy them, which is what Globex is usually the best thing to do. But right, so we got inside bar on the Dow, inside bar on the S&P, and an inside bar on the NASDAQ. So indecision creeping in. Market's not really able to decide what to do from here, which I'm not surprised because we've obviously dropped fairly hard today. It's also FOMC day, isn't it? But if I shut this, it will collapse. Okay, new low of the day gone in on the S&P. Sorry, a low of the session gone in on the S&P. Low of the day is coming up. NASDAQ didn't manage to make a new low. I'm going to close out the NASDAQ. I'm just going to take the money. Okay, so I'm going to leave the Dow running. So banked for about 500. My risk on the Dow is 369-ish. Yeah. So my risk basically is 369. So either the Dow comes down and hits target, takes a partial, protects it, and we're done for the day, or it's going to stop me out, in which case I've got the possibility of $150 profit. But I don't want to push this market. It's really, really struggling to... It's making progress, but it's really struggling. So I don't really just want to leave loads of risk on the table in a market that's dying. So it could easily just pop. You'll have one of those days where you'll suddenly get this sort of like that. You'll just suddenly get bang, 15 minutes and we'll be back up here because the market literally can't sustain any more downward movement. And everybody that's trying to sell short will get run over. And as soon as they flip and reverse, that momentum will just drive the market straight back up again. And it's, as you can see, you've got a W pattern reversal going in now on the Dow Jones. We break that high, we're going to come up, retest. So, even if we do break these lows, it's just like pulling teeth today. It's just not able to get there, is it? Also coming, stock exchange, Bitcoin type investments. Is there? Yes. I'm just not interested in crypto at all. Still can't. No one can still tell me why. I know why. Elon Musk goes, hey, buy Dogecoin. Everyone buys Dogecoin. That's why. Trump goes, here's my new coin. $250 million of it gets sold. Why? Why? What does Trump's coin do? I don't get it. If I don't get it, I can't trade it. Don't understand it. I don't understand what drives it. I don't understand what it does. I don't understand why you would want some. I can't spend it. What's the point? I just don't get it. You can trade it. So yeah, but you can also trade the VIX. That's not a real thing either. Neither is the pound US dollar. That's not a real thing. This is not a tangible asset. That is. That isn't. This is an exchange rate. You can't pick this up. You can't hold it. It doesn't exist. It's a non-tangible product. Gold, oil, can hold them. Stocks have an intrinsic value attached to a business. Coins that don't exist, don't get it. No one can tell me why it goes up and down. If you can't tell me why it goes up and down, I can't buy it. Or sell it, because I don't know what to do with it. I just don't know. If it starts following price action and market structure, really nice and orderly, I guess there's an argument for trading it in that way. But I don't understand if it's purely a technical asset in the fact that it moves on sentiment only because technical traders are seeing a line or something where they are all acting as one. That is obviously the best technical product you can get, which is brilliant. But then why does it suddenly spike out of the blue for no reason? I can't get the engagement there. Why does it do it? Someone's manipulating something somewhere to make that happen. We know why this does this. We know why the US dollar does that. We know why everything else moves in the Forex markets. We know why oil moves, gold moves. We know why all this stuff happens. Something that doesn't exist, that Trump has made up out of the air, stuck on an exchange and gone meh, and suddenly 250 million or billion or whatever it has been bought of it. What did they do with it? What's the point? I don't get it. I'm sure everybody out there knows. I just don't, so I don't trade it. It's just not my bag, as Austin Powers would say. We've broken short on everything, so too early on these exits, but I think I was warranted with these exits. I think that was the right decision to make. Financially wrong, but right decision from a trading point of view. I've got the Dow Jones running, which will be partial TPing shortly, so I'm probably going to get a grand out the day, which is nice, which will bring me up to 7.7-ish on the month. Going to protect that just in case and cancel the opposite pending. Just in case this is the last hurrah, and basically what we're looking at is a market structure long. In fact, I might just take it. Money in it. Just sticking a trailing stop of 15% of ADR. So if this does go, I'm just going to trail it really tight at 15% of ADR on the Dow, or break even. Done for the day. Guaranteed 500, potential for a grand. Right, that's all I've got. Nothing much else today. I'm letting my FTMO account just trade away. Now I know I've got a 7 grand target to reach. I'm just going to let that go for the benefit of the doubt. In fact, I've got 1,400, which is 25% of target, isn't it? I've still got the FTSE running. All right, okay. Closing the FTSE. Gets me up on the day. I'll let the rest... Shall I let the rest run? Close the S&P. I'm going to close the S&P as well. Okay, so done 700 on the FTMO account. I'll let the rest run, see where we go with those. I'm less worried about this because it's FTMO. Gambling, isn't it? Right, I'll leave you there. Anything else you need, let me know. I'll be back on Friday morning. 150 ADR now, Aussie, New Zealand. Shouldn't have got out of that today. Never mind. Been the other quarter of an ADR on that. So broken to the downside. Be careful with this. As I say, there's a long, very bearish at the moment, and that New Zealand dollar is rallying on absolutely no real reason. It shouldn't be bullish off the back of that news today. So just be aware, tomorrow you've got a European session with half the volume. GDP for the US comes out tomorrow afternoon, and unemployment an hour ahead of the news, of the open. And we got FOMC this evening. So FOMC unlikely to move the market. However, we might well get a whipsaw out of it. So just be aware of those coming up this afternoon. Other than that, I'm done for the day. I'll be back on Friday morning and Friday afternoon if you're around. If not, I will see you next time. Have a good day.